Coming up next in Burbank On Demand, a book series spotlighting the histories of select American cities takes aim at Burbank. We'll meet the identical twins behind the endeavor. Speaking of history, if you haven't visited this Burbank treasure, shame on you. See what you're missing in this museum that's tapped into more than a century of Burbank's past. You'd have to go back more than 100 years to find a worse drought in California than the one we're in now. BWP will offer some ways to lessen the pain. Thieves look for opportunities like this, especially during the holiday season. Burbank Police have some tips to keep your car and valuables safe and sound. And we have a preview of not one, but two shows playing on the Burbank channel right now. It's all next in Burbank On Demand. Hello, I'm Drew Sugars, Public Information Officer for the City of Burbank. Welcome to another edition of Burbank On Demand, a show about people and places in Burbank that you can watch anytime you want on demand. This month, we're coming to you from the Burbank Historical Society Museum in George Izay Park. A little bit later in the show, we'll speak with a member of the Society who will tell us more about this somewhat hidden treasure and how you can get on down here and check it out. Again, that's a little bit later in the show. Right now, let's see what's new in Burbank.
Welcome to What's New in Burbank. The Burbank City Council will step out of City Hall and into the community to engage in constructive conversation with anyone in Burbank who wants to attend a town hall meeting on October 21st. If you have an issue or concern that impacts the entire Burbank community, you can have it addressed by the City Council at Luther Burbank Middle School at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 21st. Luther Burbank Middle School is at 3700 Jeffries Avenue. For more information, contact the Public Information Office at 818-238-5840. The City of Burbank will be encouraging recycling with its annual Second Chance Weekend on October 11th and 12th. Second Chance Weekend will allow residents to hold a garage sale without a permit. This opportunity also means residents can have one more garage sale in addition to the city's 2 garage sales per year limit. However, all other regulations concerning garage sales will still be in effect. For more information, contact Burbank License and Code Services at 818-238-5280. Raise a glass to fall with craft beer and good times on Saturday, October 18th at Oktoberfest in downtown Burbank. Come out from 12 noon to 7 p.m. and sample 60 varieties of local craft beer in the outdoor beer garden. Enjoy special to-go menus from downtown Burbank restaurants and groove to the eclectic sounds of KCRW DJ Gary Calamar. Tickets are $45 for general admission from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and $55 for the VIP reception from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Come out and experience this great fall event, Oktoberfest, on Saturday, October 18th in downtown Burbank. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to dtnbur.com. Remember books? In this high-tech world, the ink on paper kind of book is still around. And some of the local folks who write those books will be gathering at the Buena Vista Branch Library on Saturday, October 18th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The local authors showcase will feature more than 50 authors, including DJ Adamson, who just released Admit to Mayhem, Alice Asmer, whose new book is called Dance to the Great Spirit, and Denise Fleck, whose book was just voted the best children's book of 2013 by the Dog Writers Association of America. That's the local authors showcase on Saturday, October 18th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Buena Vista Branch Library. In early September, California's Attorney General Kamala Harris honored these Burbank Police Department Traffic Bureau employees for reducing traffic accidents and injury collisions at key Burbank intersections over the last 2 years. Along what is called the Hollywood Way and Buena Vista corridors, traffic accidents have been reduced by more than 15%. Citywide, accidents are down 8%. The Attorney General recognized 11 Burbank motor officers with the Peace Officer Commendation Award for helping successfully address what had become an increasing number of traffic accidents in the city. From 2009 to 2012, across Burbank, accidents rose from 863 to 1,509. During that same period, injury accidents increased from 386 to 569. The BPD Traffic Bureau attacked the issue by visibly increasing the police presence at the 16 most problematic Burbank intersections. The Attorney General estimated that the reduction in traffic collisions in Burbank since October 2012 has led to a $1.5 million savings in medical and property damage costs. I'm Peter Maserlan, and this has been What's New in Burbank.
There's a new history book out about Burbank. That's right. In the age of hundreds of television channels and the internet, it appears that some people have not given up on publishing. As Peter Maserlan reports in this Burbank On Demand cover story, the book is called Early Burbank. The authors, identical twin sisters.
Aaron and Jamie Schonauer are a couple of Midwestern transplants who have lived in Burbank for about 10 years, absorbing all they could about the city, past and present, through osmosis. But then the identical twin writing team decided to author a book about Burbank, taking only a year from start to finish on this pictorial history called Early Burbank. They unveiled their book at the Buena Vista Branch Library meeting room before a crowd of about 50 die-hard Burbank fans who might have known a thing or two about Burbank history themselves, having racked up hundreds of collective years, no doubt, living in Burbank.
We hope that the book will help, preserve Burbank history, and we hope that people, when they read the book, they can learn new stories of Burbank and find out, perhaps something that they've never known before.
The book, part of Arcadia Publishing's Images of America series, is divided into 5 chapters, including a look at the city's entertainment industry, its aviation past, and there's even a chapter dedicated to rose floats. The sisters spent months going through thousands of mostly digital pictures, finally settling on about 200 for the book. And even though Erin is 2 minutes older than Jamie, she says they have worked as equals all of their lives.
Like as far as the pictures, we both would have to like the picture for it to go in the book. So if one didn't like a picture and one did, but then it wouldn't go in the book. Yeah. So we have to kind of agree, but we mostly agree and then just bounce ideas back and forth and rewrites just back and forth. One of my favorite pictures is the 2 women riveters riveting a fuselage at Lockheed during World War II. And because we do a section in the book where we feature the women who worked at Lockheed. And it's just one of my favorites because it shows how the women had to step it up and really work on the big, large aircrafts, at Lockheed. I mean, these women were not previously skilled in this area. They were homemakers and clerks and dressmakers, and they had to really learn a whole new career.
Erin is especially fond of the Rose Float chapter, featuring a number of Burbank Rose Parade entries over the years.
One of my favorites in the Rose Float chapter, where we feature Burbank's Rose Floats, and one of my favorites is the 1939 float, Tally Ho of 1889. The school districts, the Burbank teachers and students were able to work together and build this float, and it looks so professional.
Perhaps the coolest, then saddest Burbank float entry was from 1964, called The President Goes to the Prom, based on a visit by President John Kennedy to the Burroughs High June 1963 prom in Beverly Hills. JFK had a fundraiser there that almost resulted in the Burbank kids getting moved to another room. The president nixed that idea and even dropped by to talk to them.
Actually, this is a better room than the room we have upstairs.
The surprise visit inspired the January 1st, 1964 Burbank float that rolled down Colorado Boulevard 40 days after JFK was assassinated.
Next to being president, in fact, rather than being president, I'd prefer to be a senior in this high school.
10 years later, in 1974, Wes Clark and Mike McDaniel were graduating from Burbank High School. Today, they are 2 of the most knowledgeable people on the planet about Burbank history. The longtime friends now run a website called Burbankia. The sisters who wrote Early Burbank used the site extensively for information and pictures.
We set up Burbankia 11 years ago, and it was an activity that the both of us could do. I grew up here in Burbank and I went to Burbank schools, and I loved history, and it occurred to me that I wanted to live in a place where there was a lot of history. So when I graduated from college, I moved to the East Coast in Northern Virginia. There's a lot of history there. And after 20 years or so of visiting all of the local historic sites, I realized that the place I had come from, Burbank, had history as well. Not only that, but it had a really interesting history and a unique angle of its own, being associated with the aeronautical industry and the entertainment industry and just human history. So Mike and I have really found an interest in digging up this stuff and using it in Burbankia.
I was in Burbank High, I was in the print shop, and I was studying to, learn to be a printer, which is what I do here at the city. In 1967, the Burbank High print shop had printed a book called A History of Burbank. I just became enthralled with Burbank history. I learned things reading the book that I never knew before. That's how I got interested in Burbank history, and then Wes approached me one day and said, hey, why don't we do a website? We know a lot of things, and now, 11 years later, here we are. Burbankia is a hit.
The Schonauer twins are hoping their book will be a hit too. You can find it at a few local retailers or simply Google, in quotes, Early Burbank, and you'll be able to find it online. Reporting from the Buena Vista Branch Library, I'm Peter Maserlian with the Burbank On Demand cover story.
We've got more Burbank history in this edition of Burbank On Demand. Still to come, we'll hear from one of the folks behind this tribute to the golden past of the media capital of the world. The new edition of Currents is out, and it's filled with information to counter arguably the worst drought this region has seen in 100 years. And the holiday season often sees a rise in car burglaries. Burbank's Finest has a few tips to keep your possessions safe and sound. That's when Burbank On Demand continues. Welcome back to Burbank On Demand, where we share some of the reasons Burbank is such a wonderful place to live and work. Well, one of those reasons is Burbank Water and Power, the citizen-owned utility that vows to always be there for you. Like clockwork, BWP publishes a magazine every 3 months that's filled with insightful information. Never is that more important than right now, as we face a drought the state of California has not seen the likes of in more than a century. Here's BWP's Jeanette Meyer to show you what's in the latest edition of Currents in a segment we call Currents on Demand.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Meyer with Burbank Water and Power. Today we're exploring the October issue of Currents, which is BWP's quarterly newsletter that you receive in the mail. Now, not surprisingly, the main focus of the newsletter is California's drought. We are 3 years into a really serious drought, and we need your help. When you get Currents, please take some time to read it. Find out what you need to know about how Burbank is responding to the drought, get water-saving tips, and discover how BWP can help you save water. Here's a quick preview. We turn the tap and there it is, all the water we need. It can be hard to remember that there is a gripping drought when our daily experience is that water is so readily available. But there is a terrible drought occurring throughout California, and we don't know when it might end. As you get up to speed on the drought, you'll see information showcasing how dire the drought is, including the fact that some communities may literally run out of drinking water. One response the city of Burbank has taken is to limit landscape watering. For the remainder of October, we can water our lawns and landscape up to 3 days a week, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and for no more than 15 minutes per irrigation station. But starting November 1st, landscape watering will be limited to just 1 day a week, on Saturdays, again for no more than 15 minutes. And please remember, never water when the sun is out. You will just lose water unnecessarily to evaporation. And speaking of landscape, we have 2 great ways to help you out. First, the city's Park Recreation and Community Services Department is providing free mulch to anyone who wants it. Just head down to the parking lot of McCambridge Park, Isay Park, or Gross Park anytime that the parks are open and help yourself to as much mulch as you can use. Adding mulch to your garden helps improve your soil by retaining moisture and adding organic matter that's rich in nutrients to the soil. Mulch also suppresses weed growth and helps you save water, and as we mentioned, it's free. Here's another way that we can help you reduce your landscape watering requirements, and it's with hefty rebates for turf replacement. Did you know that half of all the water used by homeowners, about 1.5 billion gallons of drinking water annually, goes to water Burbank lawns and gardens? There is no doubt about it, lawns are thirsty. But you can dramatically reduce your watering needs by replacing lawn with drought-tolerant plants that just sip instead of slurp water. BWP's Go Native Turf Removal Program pays residents $3 for every square foot of grass that's converted to California native plants. And we just added rebates for artificial turf in backyards. So lawns represent the top opportunity for water conservation overall, but there are plenty of ways to save water inside your home. Here's some things we recommend. Take a shorter shower. Run your dishwasher or your clothes washer when it's full. Don't let the water run unnecessarily when brushing your teeth and washing dishes. Need some help figuring out how to tighten up your home to make it more energy and water efficient? Well, have we got a great program for you. It's BWP's Green Home House Call program, and if you haven't used this program yet, you'll definitely want to. First of all, it's 100% free to participants. Schedule an appointment with us and we'll come to your home, install high-quality energy and water-saving products for you, like shower heads and faucet aerators and high-efficiency light bulbs. We'll tune up your central air conditioner for free. If you need attic insulation, we'll install that for you for free. We'll check your irrigation system to make sure there's no overspray for free. And brand spanking new, we will now install low flush toilets for you if you have old toilets using more than 1.6 gallons per flush. Want to guess how much we're charging for that service? That's right, it's free. Simply put, Green Home House Call is a fantastic program offered only to Burbank residents. Read the article about the program in the October Currents issue, then join the nearly 5,000 Burbank households that have already taken advantage of this program. These are just some of the stories that you'll find in the latest Currents newsletter, but there's one more item I want to give you a quick heads up on. BWP is now running a double rebate promotion in our popular Home Rewards Appliance Rebate Program. So if you're in the market to replace an old refrigerator, an old clothes washer, a dishwasher, if you want to get a new central air conditioning unit or a high-efficiency room air conditioner, if you want to get Lowy windows or a pool pump or other items as well, now's the time. Through the end of February, BWP will pay you double the regular rebate. This is just one way that BWP is working to be always there for you. And as always, for more information about all of our programs, please visit us online at burbankwaterandpower.com. Thank you so much.
If you didn't get a copy of Currents or just want to check it out, go to burbankca.gov and click on the tab for BWP and then type Currents in the search box. You are probably aware that the number of car burglaries typically rises during the holiday season. What you may not know is that a large number of incidents can be easily avoided. Here's Officer Josh Kendrick of the Burbank Police Department with some simple advice to keep your possessions safe and sound.
Hello, I'm Officer Joshua Kendrick with the Burbank Police Department. As we enter another holiday shopping season, many of you will be out and about enjoying this time of year. Unfortunately, it's also a time of the year that we see an increase in property theft-related crimes, as thieves are out shopping too, and it could be in your car. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to provide you some tips that will help to keep you and your belongings safe and sound. The first tip I'd like to talk to you about today is not only helpful during the holiday shopping season, but can be used year-round. In fact, It might seem obvious, but it's the single most effective thing that you can do to help reduce crime while you're shopping and running errands, and that is simply to lock your car doors. Many thieves rely on crimes of opportunity and walk through a parking structure or even on the street to see which car doors are left unsecured. If the door is locked, they typically move on to another car. Another tip to remember, do not leave valuables in the car. First, a thief cannot steal what isn't there. Second, if valuables are left in the car and out in the open, a thief may be willing to take the risk to smash the window to get inside. This includes items that you might think have little value, like a backpack with gym clothes or school books, but to a criminal, they don't know what's inside. To them, it could be a backpack with a camera, cell phone, iPad, laptop, and they may just be willing to take the risk to find out. When it comes to parking your vehicle, be sure to choose a well-lit area, and again, lock your doors, no matter how long you'll be gone. When parking or returning to your vehicle, be sure to keep your keys in your hand, make eye contact with people around you, and be aware of your surroundings. And if you see someone suspicious near your vehicle, press the panic button on your key to activate the alarm, as this will draw attention to your vehicle from those in the area. If the individual that is there is up to no good, they aren't likely to stick around. These might seem like obvious bits of advice, but you'd be amazed at the amount of crimes that we investigate in which these tips are ignored. So take a moment and review some of the tips that we've talked about here today to help make your holiday season safe and sound.
To view more public safety tips, look for all the Safe and Sound segments available on demand by going to YouTube and searching for the Burbank channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Still to come in Burbank On Demand, inside the St. Leon Armenian Cathedral, a preview of the latest mayor show which takes you inside the iconic structure. And we'll hear from one of the folks behind the Burbank Historical Society and its charming museum. That's a must-see, especially if you want to explore the city's distinguished past. Burbank On Demand will be right back. Welcome back to Burbank On Demand, where we are coming to you this time from the Burbank Historical Society's Gordon R. Howard Museum, and where there is no lack of cool stuff to see here. I'd like to introduce you now to a third-generation Burbanker, Carrie Briggs. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
You are a board member for the Historical Society, and I got to tell you, this place is absolutely fantastic, and it's kind of a secret for some people. They don't even know it's here.
It's referred to as one of the best kept secrets in Burbank, actually.
Well, for someone who hasn't been here or maybe has heard about it, can you tell us a little bit about the museum?
It's a 20,000 square foot museum at this building. We also have a Victorian house out front. We house a huge collection of aviation, film, different parts of Burbank throughout its inception all the way through today.
Now, this two-story building is actually, you think it's smaller, and you get in here, you realize just how big. I mean, you have vehicles and fire engines in here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned how you have these different sections, which I think is really neat. You can kind of touch on different parts of Burbank's history. Is there a section that you like that's one of your personal favorites, or that that you're finding are people's personal favorites?
I like it all, actually, because it shows different representations of different periods and different things throughout the city. The women like the salon that has vintage dresses and accessories and things. The men like the cars and the speed shop. Upstairs we have a train demonstration that's from the 1930s that was given to us. We have a myriad of different things here to see.
I thought it was cool how you have a pretty large section going back to the history of Lockheed and also the airport, but you also touch on the Tonight Show. You have one of Johnny Carson's suits that he actually wore on the show. And a little corner there you had on Disney, a little background on how Burbank was almost the site of Disneyland.
It was at one time, yeah. And UCLA was actually going to come here also.
Okay, well, we like the way Burbank is now, but this is a cool way to look at the past. If someone had something that they wanted to donate, because I understand that most of these things are donated items, how would they go about doing that?
Just call us or go on the website, and we would go out and look at the items and see if it fits what we're trying to do here at the museum. Some things, we have a lot of typewriters and phones and those type of things, but some things that we found in attics and garages and stuff are priceless treasures that Burbankers need to actually see and have housed here at the museum.
And Burbank being just a little over a century, which is a fair amount of time, but in the terms of history, it's not that long. So I imagine that most of these donated items have a story behind them that maybe you heard told in first-person account.
I have. I've actually got to meet like Jim Jeffries' niece and other people throughout Burbank have gotten to tell us stories. When we take the museum out into the public and do some of the car shows and some things in the park, people come by and actually tell us stories that they had about their parents or their grandparents. And we have some pictures we'd like to give you or things like that. And we're always looking for those type of stories and articles, because that's what builds the history here.
I was just going to ask you about that. This is an all-volunteer organization. How hard is it to staff it? And if someone said, hey, I want to help out, what would they do?
The same thing, call us or go online, and we'd be more than happy to have you come out and take you around and show you things and see if you'd like to do it. And because sometimes people think it's overwhelming because it is so big, but you start off small, and by the time you get to be, ingrained in this, it becomes your life, and you just start knowing the stories and things like that.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time and letting us do our show from here.
It's our pleasure. Like you said, we're open 1 to 4 Saturday and Sunday, and we're always looking to have people come in and share the experience that we have here.
And I should point out, if someone has a group of 10 or more, they can also call and perhaps set up a private tour during the week.
We do private tours, and we actually, Mrs. Howard actually sponsors every third grader on buses to come here throughout the year, so that every third grader gets to come through here and see what Burbank's about also.
And we are at the Howard Museum, home of the Burbank Historical Society. Again, open Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 4. And if you have 10 or more people, call them and they can do a private tour. Again, thank you for letting us come in.
My pleasure.
Well, welcome to another edition of Mayor on the Street.
Hi, I'm Marcia Ramos, Mayor of the City of Burbank. Welcome to another Building Community program.
Welcome to Key to the City. This program is to bring you people who play key roles in the city of Burbank, and sometimes...
For nearly a quarter century, more than 20 different Burbank mayors have hosted a television show on the city's government access channel. Mayor David Gordon's first mayor show is now running. It's the first of multiple shows expected during his tenure as mayor. It's an interview with Archbishop Hovnen Derderian of the Armenian Apostolic Church in Burbank. The show also includes a tour inside the iconic facility you've likely seen near the 5 freeway. Here's a short clip of the 30-minute program currently running on the Burbank channel.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Gordon, Mayor of the City of Burbank. I'm here today at the St. Leon's Cathedral, a Western Diocese Armenian Church in Burbank. And not only are we going to take a look at what we drive by and see every day in Burbank and on the freeway, but we're actually going to go inside and speak with the Archbishop, Archbishop Hovnen Derderian, and find out what really happens on the inside of this church.
My first question is a simple one. All bishops are equal when it comes to the hierarchy, but the Catholicos, who is the head of the church, is the first amongst all bishops who is elected to be the head of the Armenian Apostolic Church, and that is a position for life. Therefore, any person who is a priest who is being elected to be the primate, he is also ordained to be the bishop of the diocese. The merging of the old traditional Armenian architecture as well as the modern architecture are merged together so harmoniously. That is one thing which attracts the people. They feel at home. But it is also important to see when you enter into the cathedral that in as much as this is the Armenian architecture, the new style, the new approach has been introduced, so harmoniously that it brings a new flavor to art, to architecture. And that is one thing which attracts people, helps them to be connected.
Archbishop, this is the memorial plaque that we were talking about. Can you fill us in a little bit? This is the same type of stone from Armenia. Can you tell us a little bit about this significance?
Well, this is the monument dedicated to 9/11. Let peace reign in memory of the victims. We want this to be a reminder to all that as people of God, we need to make sure that we are the architects of peace in the life of the world.
You can catch the whole program on the Burbank channel or watch it anytime online on the city's website by clicking the On-Demand Video tab, or go to YouTube and search for the Burbank channel. Still to come on Burbank On Demand, this is no trivial matter. Some of the sharpest minds in the city compete to benefit a worthy charity. That's when Burbank On Demand continues. Welcome back to Burbank On Demand, where we share stories about Burbank that you can watch whenever you want, wherever you want, on demand. After a 2-year hiatus, the popular Trivia Challenge returned to raise money for literacy programs at the Burbank Public Library. We captured the entire competition on video, which you can currently see on the Burbank channel. Here's a look at some of the competition.
The Burbank New Rotary.
We're in it to win it.
They got one check, folks. This is pressure time. You got one or two?
No pressure.
One.
One. Okay, pressure time. That's right, what pressure? Who is the victim in his mansion in the board game Clue? I never would have gotten this. This is good. She knows it.
Mr. Body.
Got it, Mr. Body.
You can watch the entire Trivia Challenge on the Burbank channel or on demand at your convenience on the city's website by clicking the On Demand Video tab, or of course on YouTube after you search for the Burbank channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Burbank On Demand. If you saw any story that you'd like to watch again or share with someone you know, just go to the city's website, burbankca.gov, where you can watch it on demand. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.